So Alex, it's a bit difficult to start because I always have the feeling it's difficult to explain what you do. I always feel like you're Alex from Tokyo is on the tip of the iceberg, because there's so much else that you do that's kind of underneath and that not so many people know about.
He's a crazy, music equipment freak, and yeah, I mean
But that's very Japanese, right?
I mean, part of it. I mean, of course, the whole otaku, obsessed, side. But yeah, I mean, and he's a real musician. He's a studio musician too, and on the side, he makes like drum machines and
he makes drum machines.
Yes, like synthesizers as well, and he's a big fan of Yellow Magic Orchestra, this legendary Japanese group that we all got really influenced because they were everywhere when we grew up in Tokyo, and one of his hobbies is to kind of like recreate a lot of their albums too.
Really, he just recreates. Okay.
Just for his own.
With
passion,
self-made synthesizers.
Yeah, and plus with the original synthesizers they were using as well back in the days. Tokyo Blackstar. It's this project between Isao Kumano, which is a highly respected sound engineer in Japan, and myself and Takagi-kun as well. He does help us, but it started really as a kind of more like a jam type of a project. It's like we want to do what we can't do by ourselves and just collaborate with each other and just have vision, and try not to do only like music for clubs to make people. It was more about, I was a DJ, and I really wanted to do something else, like bring something else to the table. I didn't want to do like another kind of like house track that my really good friends were really doing great.
So that's not really the goal when you produce music. It's not that you say, "Oh, this has to be a club tune."
No,
it's
not
mostly
at all.
About music
it's we talk a lot. We're completely different with Isao. You've met him too, and he's a very like serious guy, very technical guy. His studio is completely custom made. From cables, from everything. He learned everything by himself, and he made his studio by himself, with his hands.
But how important do you think that is for music production? Nowadays you have to mostly buy a version of a software or so, and then you already can make music.
Yeah.
How do you think how important it is to actually spend that much time to build your own studio?
It's a passion.
You can get totally lost in there.
And he likes it, and he likes like tweaking his machines and changing cables, and he makes his own cables too, and that's where he has his own sound as well. Nobody can copy what he does because it's pretty much everything original.
But you started working with, talking equipment with a company called Phonon. That's maybe you explain, because it's a lot of equipment that you produce, and for me it's a bit. It's obviously objects that I would like to try out.
Okay.
But it's also a little bit of voodoo, or
it's
connected to it, right?
It's on the.
Maybe you just start off how it started and what the project is that you are.
Okay, so to keep it simple, and so through Isao,
your production partner,
exactly. Like 3 years ago, 3 like professional veteran audiophiles guys contacted him for their new kind of like equipment inventions, and one of them is this like 65 years old professional audiophile. He lives in Nagano. He has his little electronic store and his little like like atelier behind, and he repairs everything. He fixes everything from computers to drum machines to speakers.
So a bit like Isao as well, and he's really into
Yeah,
gear
and this guy's been kind of like in the audio field in Japan for like more than 40 years, always looking for better sound delivery, you know, like always trying to improve things. And the inventor, Mr. Ando, like presented, I mean, this device called the PhD. And everything kind of like started from there. They started to kind of collaborate. Isao basically tweaked his invention for his own studio use.
What is the invention?
Okay, so it's a very sensitive metal device that you connect to your speakers. It delivers a never experienced before honest reproduction of the sound.
Okay.
So it's not changing the sound, it's not altering the sound. Basically, it makes you feel the sound better. Okay. Basically, it's the true reproduction of the original waveform of the sound.
But it's not a device that actually produces the sound.
It doesn't produce sound. What it does, not to go too technical, you connect the pair to your pair of speakers, to the plus and minus of your speakers, and what it does, it vibrates and reacts in harmony to the sound waves coming out of your speakers. And what it does, in vibrating, it transmits some ultra sound waves, and what it does in the end, those ultra sound waves go on top of the sound waves. And it aligns all the frequencies. So basically, you feel all the different frequencies at the same time. It disturbs the waveforms, and it creates some kind of some delays as well. And plus frequencies, they don't travel at the same time too.
All right.
But what it does in the end, it's a much more detailed and open sound scope. So it's definitely much more detailed and wider in terms of the stereo image too. So basically, you can tweak more. Like for example, like Isao was telling me, you know, he's a mastering engineer too, and when he does mastering, there's lots of like kind of like reverbs, like that you can't really tweak, and because it's so detailed, you can really go into them, and so your final work, your final mix is definitely much more precise.
Okay.
Exactly. So it's, you know, this is kind of like the main invention, and from there we have like more accessible.
But only available in Japan, right?
I mean it's available on our website, and the PhD mainly in Japan, and I'm representing the brand, and I'm trying to have the brand available all over the world.
We'll see.
The better your setup is, the more efficient it is. You know, it's high-end stuff, you know.
So it wouldn't work on my little compact stereo at home?
No.
Okay.
No.
This is something that we actually have here, and that we are also giving away to one lucky winner. It's not nail polish. Yeah,
it's no oil.
It's no oil, oil-free it says. But what is this exactly? Because I think this really does make sense to me at all. I mean, the rest I just have to to listen at first, actually, and then I have to make up my mind.
Demo. It's called the Phonon Liquid. It's a contact cleaner, a contact improver. Basically, it's a electrical junction restructuring liquid. So the more you use your cables, the more they get damaged. And when you look, you have little holes where
scratches.
Where the contacts are made, you know. And basically, this liquid. It's oil-free, so it doesn't damage your cables or your connection. It covers up all those little holes you have, and basically it makes a better electricity, you know, fluidity, and it makes a better.
It actually
sound
does
delivery.
make a difference. I did try this at home,
and it especially, you know, if you keep you know, like unplugging your equipment, your synths and everything, it does really make a difference.
Yeah. What's the special thing about the headphones?
They are monitoring headphones,
Mm-hmm.
primarily for studio listening, professional use, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
They actually incorporate the PhD technology. So basically, the idea in your ears, in your headphones, it's
That the frequencies arrive at the same time.
The alignment, the time phase frequency alignment. And yeah, I mean, they're very comfortable and very detailed, really amazing kind of like low volume playback. So you can work with it for like hours, and your ears don't fatigue at all.
Mm-hmm.
And they're so clear that, I mean, it's you don't need to pump.
But I think you
pump
can
them
actually
out
hear
and-
that in your music as well. When you listen to the sounds, it sounds very clear without being too clean. So thanks, Alex from Tokyo.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.